What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. We're here at Lake Julian for the next Monday mid-range madness. We have the overstable balance prototype. This disc is, I've thrown it for about a month now, and it's great, it's fine, but I don't think it does anything special. It might be a spot that's missing out of MVP Axiom's lineup, but as far as the balance prototype, and that they are going to be retooling the mold because this isn't how they wanted it to fly. But this specific disc, it's great, but I think there are other discs that fit this slot a little bit better for me. But we are testing this disc out against another disc that Simon Lizotte probably would have had a lot of experience throwing. This is an overstable beaded mid-range. This is the C-Line Metal Flake MD4. As far as the cross-section profile is concerned, very, very similar. Everybody's talking about the balance and how Simon wanted a beaded mid-range, how he wanted a rock. But he used to throw for Discmania, and Discmania has the MD4. So are we sure he wanted a rock, or did he want an MD4? Let's see how these two compare against each other. I'm going to start off on hole 15. This is a soft little not soft for these. Going to have to actually kind of throw them a little bit. It's going to be a forehand hyzer. We're going to go balance and then MD4. It's a little breezy, so let's take that into account. That was a very bad throw. Better commitment, better on the release, still bad. Off of those two throws, and we're gonna go throw, well, we might actually be able to have some space for the backhand. We might throw another forehand, but these discs I was not really leaning on for a forehand. This is really more of a backhand workhorse, so let's go throw some backhands. Let's see if it truly is a workhorse. So the balance is just kind of automatically going to be a little bit more torque resistant, just because they have almost the same amount of bluntness, but it's gyro. So just having the little bit extra gyro effect, putting a little bit more weight out on the rim, is going to give it a little bit more torque resistant to make it a little bit better for a forehand. However, on a forehand, it's kind of straight pyro, not dumpy pyro. When you throw it on a backhand, it gets a little bit more interesting, because on the backhand, you're giving it more spin, so you're giving it more gyroscopic effect. And when you take a disc that's supposed to be overstable and you give it more gyroscopic effect, it just makes it do more of what the disc is supposed to do. So it's very overstable on a backhand and pretty straight on a forehand. So let's toss both of these. Balance prototype has the box and the first point. Hole 16 is about 380, 370, 360, depending on what you end up ranging to on the back wall. Let's just throw a big hyzer and see how far they push down there. It just doesn't, unless you get it super flat and pushy and on the angle, it doesn't want to go straight. Whereas this, last time I threw it, I don't remember it being quite that dumpy. Yeah. it looked similar, but the MD4 went about 50 feet further. About the same amount of power. So the balance prototype, because it's gyro and because it's very similar to a pyro, we don't ever really get to see pyros with a gyro rim. Most pyros have the prism rim, and the only ones we got to see were the fission pyros, which everyone thought were going to be a super straight pyro. They weren't. The gyro makes it more overstable. So this is not fission. It's it's a more stable plastic, a more torque resistant plastic. And it's very similar to the pyro design. And now we're giving it gyro. It's going to be pretty overstable. A lot more overstable than what I was anticipating it being. We'll talk a little bit more as we play some more holes. But I think it shares more qualities, now that I'm thinking about it, to the Discraft Malta. And no, I'm not about to pull out a Discraft Malta because I don't have one. But the last time I threw the Discraft Malta, sometimes it would be wildly overstable and sometimes it wouldn't come out of the anhyzer. And the only thing that really differentiates the Malta from a lot of those other beaded overstable mid-ranges was it was a smaller diameter, which is weird that the gyro effect would make a disc act like a small diameter mid-range. I'm not sure why it's doing that, but when you throw a Malta on a forehand, it's wildly not torque resistant. It's very flippy. You can throw it on a backhand on anhyzer, and if you spin it right, it's going to be straight to understable. And if you throw it poorly, it's going to be wildly overstable. So I don't really understand the Malta very well. And even Paul Macbeth doesn't throw the Malta. The balance prototype to me feels like it fills that similar role where it's very overstable on a backhand, but it just doesn't make sense for why it would be so straight forehand. Let's see if I can get a good hit on it here though. The MD4 took a point, so they are tied up 1-1. Let's give a big old backhand flex on hole 18. MD4 is first. Okay, that's placement shot right there. That would give us a shot to go next to the basket. We're really not trying to get huge distance, but it needs to be seen which one of these goes further when you flex it. See how hard the balance just fights out and dumps so aggressively. And I know that some people end up getting a domey balance. The balance I got was very, very flat. And that tends to lead to more dumpy, overstable discs. It is what it is. Let's go throw another shot and see what we can get. You're on hole number 19. We have what would seem to be a helping wind for this type of shot. We're gonna throw the flex line in between the trees and these crossing cables. Try to put it out there, let it fade back to the basket. MD4 has 2 to the balance, which has 1. And as I continue to throw this and this, I think they both might be too overstable for the slot that I'm looking for them to fill. But gonna have to circle back to both of these at some point, being when we come back to the method. Because I think the method, for me personally, it just fits a super special sweet spot, and we're gonna see if this one also fits it, and maybe I'm just throwing it poorly today. But MD4 and then balance. I don't really know the distance on this. I would venture to guess it's in the range of 310 to 315, maybe 320. Hold it out to the right and then let it fade back. It's perfect. That's what you want. Probably going to be a little short. Didn't really put much on it. Got a little bit better hold out of that one. But because it held over on the anhyzer, didn't really help it go much further, I don't think. Something about the balanced rim is throwing me off, and I think it's just because of how high up the wing sits and feels. Very similar to the wing on the Taco. And like I said in previous balance videos, go feel a Taco and then imagine it with an overmold. That's the balance. Something about the way the rim sits, I don't know what it is, but I can't seem to get it nose down enough to make it fly straight. Why? So this video today has actually made me realize why they're still working on the balance prototype. And that's because Simon Lizotte doesn't really throw forehands. He does occasionally when the shot needs a forehand. He might throw a forehand. If he needs to scramble, he might throw a forehand. But predominantly, he basically just throws backhand. And he's used to how the way this flies on a backhand. And then he goes to throw this. And on the forehand hole, we got a point. And on every single backhand hole, we got a point. Do you see my point? We're going to throw another forehand. We're going to give the balance a chance to try to come back a little bit closer. This is the short tee for 20. We're going to throw it from the short to the short. It's just a little forehand onto the hillside. Let's see which gets closer. All right, now for the balance. I tried to give it more. I tried to skew the results there. I tried to make the balance better. And what does that get us? A worse shot. MD4 is up 4. Balance, well, it's not up 4. Has 4. Balance has 1. So balance does not have a chance to come back. Let's go ahead and throw the last tee shot. We're going to head over to the short pad for hole 12 and throw a big old sky flex and see if we can make these hold over. We're going to commit to the NA on these and really try to put the hand in our back pocket. Make these things come out on Annie. Balance is a little bit too overstable on a backhand, a little bit too understable on a forehand for me to consider bagging this specific disc right now. Obviously, we're going to revisit it because I want to revisit it when I go for the methods again. But for now, we are going to be trying out this beautiful European Open MD4. Let's go with the backhand anhyzer. See if we can aim at the trees and get them to pull off of the trees into the open. Exactly like that. And I think the MD4 still went further. Well, look at that. Hopefully you enjoy content like this. If so, please make sure to like the video. If you want to see new stuff, make sure to comment all of that down below. Please make sure to subscribe. It helps you guys out with these subscriber only giveaways. Definitely helps me out as well. And until next time, see you out on the course.